much for zooming in today. Oh,
Thank you for arranging it, Miss Sanders.
I am so happy to meet you. I'm such a fan, such a fan. I mean, well, I haven't had the chance to see any of your films yet. They're all in Chinese, obvi, but everyone high key loves you. Thank you so much. No, share. So much share for agreeing to meet with us today.
Doujie.
Huh?
Doujie. It's Cantonese. How we say thank you in Hong Kong.
You lost. Thank you so much for zooming in today. Oh,
Thank you for arranging it, Miss Sanders.
I am so happy to meet you. I'm such a fan, such a fan. I mean, well, I haven't had the chance to see any of your films yet. They're all in Chinese, obvi, but everyone high key loves you. Thank you so much. No, share. So much share for agreeing to meet with us today.
Doujie.
Huh?
Doujie. It's Cantonese. How we say thank you in Hong Kong.
You lost me.
It's okay. 谢谢 is just fine.
So, how are you enjoying America?
Oh, very much indeed. I love
well.
America.
Good. We hope to keep you here for a very long time.
Oh, a publicist told me just for 1 hour.
Right. Now, where is our playwright director of ours? I want him to tell you all about the play so you hear it straight from the horse's mouth, if you know what I mean. Well, what am I saying? Of course you don't. You know, I'm actually very glad that Billy's late, because I wanted to tell you all about him. He's legit impressive.
Yes, I have heard this.
Well, some say he might even be the next Neil LaBute. As a matter of fact, I'm banking on it. Literally, he's very young, very edgy, very Yale MFA.
Yale? MFA?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a very good school we have here in America. One of the best. And he has written this play that will just knock your tabby off.
I must take tabby off?
You know what? I'm absolutely ravenous. Do you mind if I order a little something while we're waiting for Billy? Oh, I wonder if Shun Lee's has a vegan poo-poo platter. Well, obviously, Mr. Ellis is not answering his text messages, and lunch can wait. I guess we're on our own for a little while. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Miss Lo Ann Lee, international femme fatale? I mean, other than what I've read in Variety.
Oh yes, a variety of roles is what I am looking to read.
Oh God, You're adorable. Never mind. I'll tell you what I already do know. I know that you're from a family of diplomats, a native of Hong Kong. You attended the Juilliard of China, have been called the Scarlett Johansson of Asia, and have come to the US to fulfill your lifelong dream of starring on Broadway.
Very good.
Which is exactly why I know this part is just what you're looking for. I mean, imagine this. We open in the back alley, somewhere in the wilds of Beijing.
The wilds of Beijing.
I mean, have you ever tried to go to the bathroom in China?
Yeah, yes, as a matter of fact.
I mean, so anyway, as the curtain goes up, we see a slew of Chinamen. You see, they've formed a giant gambling ring in the back alley of the Beijing Dragon Star restaurant, and they're starting to get very agitated because the boss, that's you, is on her way.
Let me guess. This boss, she is named Mei Li.
Yes, yes, Mei Li, that's you. This beautiful exotic dish of a woman who slithers down the alley on her way back from visiting her secret American lover. She takes one look at the lead gambler. Let's just call him Hop Sing. I can't remember. It's not important. But Mei Li, our star, she stares straight into the eyes of Hop Sing. And ready for this? She shoots him dead. Because the thing is, she's just found out that he was the one responsible for stealing her from her family and selling her many years ago to a scheming warlord. So, right there in front of everyone, she shoots him, getting her revenge at last. Retribution in its most inscrutable form. Retribution at the hands of a beautiful lotus blossom, a beautiful empress of a lotus blossom we call Mei Li.
Wow.
And that is just the first scene. But listen to this. What's really gotten me so fired up about this play is the sheer complexity of the characters. I mean, the layers. What a world, this wonder, this young, emerging, young and edgy, young playwright, this future Tony Award-winning man, this Billy Ellis has managed to give us a window into an exquisitely, intricately woven tale of espionage and deceit. But within it is where the real gold is. Within it, there's this jewel, this metaphor for China's unapologetic ambition and its ability to influence the world dollar by dollar, well, yen by yen. I'm telling you, Loanne. May I call you Loanne? I'm telling you, this is the play that Broadway wants to see, needs to see, because this is something that we Americans, anyway, no offense, this is something that we, according to our ongoing market research, can relate to on a very fundamental, very human, very American level. And that's theater.
Wow.
You're speechless. I know. It's just so staggering, the relevance of this piece, isn't it? I mean, yes, on its surface, it's the story of prostitution and revenge. But then there's this twist that connects our very humanity, our sense of decency, our loyalty to the American dream. And that's why I do this. And that's why I put my bank account on the line every time I put a play on stage. For this, my American dream of making art that matters.
And this twist, the one that signifies the American dream to you, is the part, I'm guessing, where Mei Li is rescued by her tall, light, and handsome secret American lover.
Yes.
Who perhaps brings her back to the States, teaching her a deep appreciation for capitalism.
Isn't that the most beautiful story you've ever heard? I mean, God, I'm weeping just thinking about it. Listen, uh, Loanne, I know that you're meeting a lot of people. I'm no fool. And I also know that you need to play this part.
Why?
It's a gut feeling. And my gut is never wrong, especially since I switched from red wine to vodka. Also, 3 Tony Awards and 8 BroadwayWorld.com nominations do not lie. Because I listen to the pulse of the American audience. And the American audience wants this play. I mean, the American audience wants to see you in this play. Lo-Ann Lee is Empress May Lee Lotus Blossom.
Hi. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting.
Well, now that's just scary. I was just talking about ordering from Shen Lee's restaurant, and here you are. Well, good job,
What?
Siri.
Miss Sanders? I'm Roberta Liu, Billy Ellis's assistant.
Oh, well, where the hell is he? He's late.
He sends his deepest apologies. Food poisoning. He's been puking since 3 this morning.
Well, he better be.
I'm sorry?
For him to miss this meeting, I mean, he better be sick as a dog.
I assure you, he is.
I've never actually met him, in person, or, well, you know what I mean. This was going to be the big day. Don't be.
Well, how is that possible?
Mr. Ellis lives in Indianola, Iowa. So much of his correspondence is done with texting and emailing.
But no FaceTime? Zoom?
What can I say? He's camera shy.
You see, a true original. And where are you from, hun?
86 and Broadway.
No, I mean,
Where am I really from?
yes, you know what I mean.
86 and Broadway. Born in the bathtub of apartment 36G above the Citibank.
Oh, well, good for you.
I am very pleased to meet you, Miss Liu.
Maybe you can take some notes for Mr. Ellis. Miss Lee might have a few questions for him, mightn't you, Miss Lee?
Oh, please call me Lo-An.
That's an unusual name. Is it Cantonese?
Why? Is your family Cantonese?
No, we're 3rd generation Shanghainese.
Oh, yes, then it's Cantonese.
I thought so. So what kind of questions do you have? I'm all ears.
Well, I was thinking that maybe, just a thought, but what if the play took place instead of in the wilds of Beijing, did you say? What if the play took place instead of maybe, I don't know, the wilds of the United States of America?
I don't understand.
Well, what if this Empress May Lee Lotus Blossom works in Washington, D.C., maybe, and Hop Sing, if that really must be his name, Hop Sing joins her in fighting for a new American dream where of inclusion and democracy, where all men are created equal, means exactly that. And the country is better for what unites us. I mean, them, instead of those hideous stereotypes and assumptions that divide us. I mean, them. An American tale of reinvention and ultimately patriotism. For example.
Oh! Touche, Miss Lee. Loanne, touche. I I was being a little extra, wasn't I? And you're right to tease me.
No, that is not what I was intending at all, Miss Sanders.
Interesting.
I mean, first of all, no one wants to see you try to play an American. Am I right, Roberta?
Sure.
And second of all, nothing is more ridiculous than a Chinese person trying to do an American accent. I mean, you guys can never get it right. I mean, look at Jeremy Lin.
What about him?
Well, he's a basketball player from back east, like you.
Actually, he's from Palo Alto.
What? God, I can never understand a word he says.
He's from California.
I can do an American accent.
What?
I said I can do a perfect American accent.
I'm sorry, hun, but that's just not, well, not perfect or American, but you are adorable. You really are. I've got to take this. 50,000 a week and 10% of the box office. You think about it while I'm gone. Stanley.
That's some American accent you've got there.
Oh, well, yes, I did study with the best.
I know. Yale MFA, class of 2010.
Whatever do you mean?
Hi. Yale MFA, class of 2012.
Oh?
Yeah. You did a killer Nina your third year. And truly the best Portia that I've ever seen. To this day, hands down, the best.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Oh, funny. When I first read about Loanne Lead in the trades, I thought she looked familiar. I thought I was crazy. And that name. But then I thought, wait, I shop at Costco too. Loanne egg rolls were the best they ever carried.
You won't tell, will you?
I don't know. What makes you think that?
I don't know. Call it a hunch?
I do have a job to do. And this is something that my boss should probably be privy to.
Your boss, Mei Lee?
My boss, the writer, Billy Ellis.
Oh, right, yeah. Being that he's a young, edgy, very white male American playwright.
Yeah, I guess.
Or being that he's really not so young, edgy, very white, or male.
What?
It takes one to know one, that's all. Hi, Billy. Susan Lee. It's nice to meet you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. Anyone who could write a play that bad on purpose has to really know from the inside the kind of stuff that ticks us off. And girl, you hit on almost every one of them. Throw in a couple of coolie hats and some buck teeth and you got a classic.
Billy did his research. True, I might have helped him some, but
Oh, for God's sake. And did he help you write a sketch in the Yale Cabaret when we were there called Empress Mei Lee Lotus Blossom? One of the funniest things I have ever seen. Plus, I'm not the only one who looks familiar.
damn.
Yeah.
You really thought it was funny?
Hilarious.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hell, she better not see through me as easily as you did.
Who, Ashley?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about Ashley. It would never even cross her mind.
You think?
She thought you teleported in from Shunley's restaurant.
Can
I ask you something?
Sure.
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you?
I'm guessing for the same reasons you did. I got tired of not being Asian enough in this industry. I was never going to meet their expectations, so I decided to change the game and be the person that they want me to be until I am able to change the game again on my terms.
Very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That is exactly what I was going for.
I must admit, I think it's genius.
Like I said, it takes one to know one.
Give them what they want, right? So that you can get what you want.
Well, it got me my first Broadway show anyway.
Me too.
But you're a writer. No one would know what you looked like just from reading your script.
Do you know how many Asian American female playwrights have been produced on Broadway?
Well, there's didn't. Well, no, I guess not.
Right. Because until young Jean Lee got her play Straight White Men produced a few seasons back, that would be a big fat zero. Oh, even the title had straight white men in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some Asian Canadian chick who got a play produced back in 1903,
What?
but that was 1903. She had a pseudonym, but the other way.
Huh?
A Japanese Nightingale by Anoto Watana, born Winifred Eaton, played the Daly's Theater on Broadway and 30th Street.
Anoto Watana? That's about as Japanese as...
Loan Lee is Chinese?
Well, my second choice was Panda Express, but I didn't think that would look good on a marquee.
My point is, I couldn't get anywhere as Roberta Liu, not even as our Liu. So I decided to try a little experiment, an experiment that got me into the producing offices of Ashley Sanders.
But this play,
Yes?
you can't seriously be planning to have this play be your Broadway debut.
Why not? It'll employ a dozen of my friends and you if you can slum it for 50 grand a week.
And 10% of the box office.
I rest my case.
But you don't feel bad about putting all those stereotypes out there like that?
You mean I don't feel responsible for portraying Asians in a better light?
I guess that's exactly what I mean. Don't you feel responsible to do that?
Do you? Look, I just want to get a play produced. And if it has to be what they want to see, then so be it. The next one can be what I want to see. But today, with Empress Maylee Lotus Blossom, I get to be the second Asian American female playwright ever produced on Broadway. And that's my responsibility.
But you won't be.
What are you talking about? Anoto, what's her name, was Asian Canadian, remember?
And Billy Ellis is a white guy from the suburbs of Des Moines.
Oh, crap. Oh, shit.
Unless
What? I'm not into the whole Albert Nobbs thing.
unless you change the game again, sooner than later.
What do you mean?
Do the play you want to do now.
Oh, if Ashley finds out that I'm me and you're you, we'll both be out of a job faster than you can say Chinese virus.
So take it farther.
I'm sorry, I'm just not following.
I'll agree to do the play as is.
But you hate it.
Let me finish. We go into rehearsal, we get into previews, and that's where the rewrites really happen, don't they?
Actually, I do most of my rewrites before rehearsal starts.
But previews are where the real changes happen, don't they? After the tickets are sold and the ads are all bought, Ashley's in for a couple $1 million with no turning back. That's when characters get cut or drastically rewritten, locations get changed, plots get thickened. We get social media to blow up over your edgy, bold, new, highly enlightened changes to the show. Ashley comes off smelling like a very progressive rose, and you have made a hit for all of us on our terms. See? Win-win.
That's either complete genius or criminally insane.
And on opening night, we both come clean. What do you say? Are you in or are you out?
Okay, I'm back. What did I miss?
I think I'm on. Hey, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome to the talk back for this gem of a piece. My name is Reggie Lee. I am an actor and a producer. Thank you to everyone who's taking the time today to join us for this very special presentation of Empress May Lee Lotus Blossom. I crack up every time I hear that title. By Abingdon Theater Company. If you guys don't know, Abingdon Theater Company is a wonderful off-Broadway company led by artistic director Chad Austin. And they search for stories about the human experience that reflect our social, our political, historical, and cultural diversity, which is why I feel like this piece is incredibly perfect for this. Empress May Lee Lotus Blossom was the winning piece in Abingdon's inaugural virtual festival of short plays in the fall of 2020. And, you know, at a time when this pandemic was going on, all these theater companies had to scramble to look for some way to present art. And I think Abingdon did a great job with this one. This was a 2-week virtual festival, which was set up to shed light on stories by people of color. And all 6 pieces featured were written, directed, and performed by people of color. And Empress May Lee Lotus Blossom was the winning piece in that virtual festival of short plays. So that being said, I would love to introduce you guys to the writer of this piece, who is not only the writer of this piece, but she is an award-winning writer, actor, filmmaker, and the biggest advocate of inclusion that I know in anywhere in the world. Not to mention, most recently, she was elected the treasurer of the Dramatists Guild, which is a huge honor. But most importantly, at least most importantly to me, she is my best friend in the whole entire world. Can I introduce to you guys Miss Christine Toy Johnson? Chris.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Hi, pal.
What an introduction. Thank you, Reggie. Oh my goodness.
I have to tell you guys that I have to give you this little bit of trivia because it's okay. Chris, this is the way I met Chris.
Yeah.
Many moons ago.
Yes.
I was cast in an off-Broadway musical, and I had already moved out here to the West Coast to kind of do film and TV stuff, and they cast me in this musical, and I said, oh, maybe, and then they said, well, Christine Toy Johnson's doing it, and I had heard so much. I had heard that name so many times, and just nothing but amazing things about her, and I thought, okay, if Christine Toy Johnson's going to do it, then I'm going to do it. And she got to play my sister.
I'm sorry.
And here we are, many decades later, well, only really a couple. And she is my best friend in the whole world.
Oh.
So, hi.
Hi,
Welcome.
I love you so much. Yes, and I'm sorry that you took that show because of me, but I'm not sorry because you know
I'm not sorry at all.
History was made, and we had a lot of experiences we'll never forget. We'll have to share those another time. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, I'm very near and dear to this piece, as you know. Well, you know, we've talked about this piece quite a few times, and it's especially with us being in this particular industry, we know these experiences all too well. So how did this piece come about for you, and what was your inspiration for it?
Well, originally, actually, I was asked to write it as a companion piece by Guerrilla Rep here in New York City to a Neil LaBute one-act play called The Last Testament. I don't think that play is done very often. It had been done in LA years ago. And it was 3 men in a restaurant talking about a playwright, a producer, and an Asian American actor. The actor had been cast as Jesus in this play about the Last Testament. And for some reason, the playwright had not had any input into it, and he objected very much to an Asian actor playing Jesus. So they're there to convince the actor to drop out. So that's basically what that play was about. And so I was asked to do a companion piece. And so I was like, let me see, what is it? How does it hit me? What resonates? And of course, a lot of it is about assumptions and stereotypes and the power play and all of that stuff. So I thought, let me do 3 women, and the on-stage version of this is actually set in a restaurant, Sean Lee's in New York City, so that it would mirror some of the things. Then I put it away. No one was the pairing actually never happened. It never was done on stage, and I put it away, and nobody really cared about it. And then until last year, and it was done in 3 different places. I was, the pandemic inspired me to look at some of my work that I had written prior.
So when
to
was the initial?
2020
When was
to
this
see
initial? When was this initially written, Chris?
if it still hit me, and I realized that this piece and a couple of others really still said what I wanted to say very, very strongly, and I started exploring ways to update them and just see if I could put them out in the world again, because we were having all different kinds of conversations now about representation and stereotypes. And so I did that, and I wanted to embrace the Zoom form. The first place it was done was at the Women's Theater Festival in Raleigh, although it was online, with this very cast. And so to embrace the Zoom form, I set it on Zoom. I thought, well, it actually lends itself well to that. Unfortunately, I don't know, in my house, the YouTube had some issues and some syncing issues, but hopefully other people could get the whole picture. And then it was done at Greater Boston Stage Company in September. And they actually commissioned me to do a full-length version of it. So
that was my next question.
Yes, so I wrote an expand. They said, we want to know what happens next. And so I wrote a prologue where you find out how her name is really Susan Lee, came up with the idea to become Loan. And then this piece. And then after that, there's a whole part where they are rehearsing the new script that they will put in that night. And then there's a piece about after it debuts and sort of everything hitting the fan, and a resolution to how they all come together over the messages that come out and through the new version of the play. And then I was invited to be in between the Greater Boston Stage Company and the expanded version. I was invited by Abingdon to be in their short play festival, and so great. And I'm so honored that because first of all, I'm so honored that they picked me, and then that I won, and then because of winning it, I'm now an artist in residence for the next year, which is so thrilling to me, because I just love
what does that mean for you, Chris?
There's Joey. In case Joey barks,
there.
Sorry, that's live Zoom. That's Joey. He might have seen him on the street. Yeah. So,
Chris, what does that mean for you to be an artist in residence at Abingdon? What does that entail for you?
Well, there are 3 of us. I'm sorry. See, he always does this when it's
Hi, Joey.
I'm live. So we are working on a couple of different things to really just explore some of my plays, and I think this is part of it. There might be a reading involved at some point of another play, or maybe the play I wrote for you, Reggie Lee, called Guilty and Innocent, or maybe the expanded version of Empress, maybe Lotus. Well, I don't know. Chad and I have been talking about a lot of different possibilities.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes from it. But what it really means to me is Abingdon has been just amazing with supporting me and my vision and my various endeavors. And I can't tell you how much that means, how far that goes. Kudos,
by the way, to the Abingdon Theater Company. Really kudos to them. They have been nothing but amazing in this back and forth with all of us.
Right.
So, and that they're forwarding these cultural voices is fantastic. Continue, Chris. Sorry.
Yes. No, it's just reiterating that, when you're writing, it can be a very solitary experience. You're living with the characters and the voices by yourself for a very long time, and hopefully you have readings and you have productions, but a lot of it is solitary. So when you have the support of a incredible group of people like Chad and Beatrice and Maite and Emma and everyone at Abingdon, it just goes so far in lifting you up and letting you be even freer of sort of the garbage that a lot of us carry, that has to do with being any kind of an artist. It's just, I think, part of it that you come with insecurities and doubts and all kinds of feelings. But just the smallest bit of confidence building and confidence in the work does so much to lift us up. And so that we're even freer. That's what I started to say. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. We're even freer to be our best selves and to fulfill our potential in even a greater way.
You and I have talked about this in terms of like a little appreciation goes such a long way.
Right.
In terms of any artist, I think.
Right.
And it is, it really goes a long way, and Abingdon does that beautifully. So thank you guys for taking care of all of us. I was going to talk about if this play had a bigger realm, but you've hit on that, which is fantastic. I can't wait to see it. Let me ask you this: when was the first time you wrote this? How long was it put away before it resurfaced?
I would say maybe 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's so timely.
Well,
it's
now,
so timely.
yes, it is in such a strange and terrible way. It has become even more relevant. I think that you and I have certainly been talking about and trying to overcome all the challenges that are inherent in being a part of a historically marginalized community, being a storyteller, wanting to continue to see our stories through our lenses, so that we are more authentically being represented in the media, and then underline those challenges that have been ongoing throughout our careers. Underline that with the political climate that we've been through, and the really unfathomable rise of anti-Asian hate crimes. It takes on a deeper meaning what representation means and what busting harmful stereotypes really means and how impactful it is. And one of the things that I have enjoyed about putting this play out there in the world is that I try to look at it through a sort of satirical lens, so that it's not preachy, hopefully, and it's not me coming forward with all of my various shades of disappointment or rage or whatever that happens in a person's existence, but that it's hopefully entertaining. And my friend Elise Robbins, who from Greater Boston Stage Company, who brought me there, calls it cheeky, which I like. I like that word. I think it is cheeky.
Use that every time now. It is. It's wonderfully crafted. I mean, seriously, the comedic moments. It's just sometimes I catch myself and go, "Why am I laughing at this? I'm laughing at this," But that's kind of how we get the point, and you do that really wonderfully, incorporating that kind of comedy in there as well.
Thank you.
So Chris, you know what? I have all these other questions for you, but I feel like we should bring out the rest of the cast. Because I think we all have kind of a roundtable discussion about this, and I think it would be really important and wonderful. But first of all, I know what's next for you, but can you tell everyone else what's next for you coming up?
Well, so many things, actually.
And she usually has like about 30 things.
Yeah, many things. Well, I'm writing a lot of new things. I'm writing continuing a commission of a new musical with my frequent collaborator Jason Ma for Village Theater outside of Seattle. We're writing a new musical that's in various stages, of development, and then some other new things. But then also, I have been part of the North American / First National tour of Come From Away, and I have had done it for 18 months, over 500 performances before the shutdown, and I will look forward to returning to that hopefully in October.
Yeah.
Hopefully in October.
And
So,
I'm hoping you come. You will come this way to LA.
yes, definitely.
So,
well, next year.
you know,
so yeah, I
next
think
year.
this is a show that I think people really want to see, because it's so much about our better angels coming forward, and after what we've been through, it's going to be wonderful to illuminate that spirit of intentional generosity and intentional kindness and compassion again.
Absolutely. If you guys haven't seen it around the country, please go see it, and you will see Christine on stage. You can wave to her from your seat. She'll wave back somewhere.
Somewhere.
Let's bring out this stellar group of actors. I just want to introduce them. We have Rin Allen, who plays Ashley Sanders.
So funny.
We have So Funny. We have Deb Lou, who plays Loanne Lee.
So funny.
And we have Rebecca Hirohita, who plays Roberta Lou.
Actually, it's Hirota. It's Hirota.
Is it Hirota?
Yes.
My bad.
Also,
Rebecca
so
Hirota, who plays Roberta Lou. And you guys, first of all, I enjoyed this from the inception. From the first time I watched it, was ridiculously funny. I know Deb because we've worked on a reading together of Chris's plays, but I don't know Rin or Rebecca, and you guys are amazing. All of you are amazing. My first question is, how did you guys go about rehearsing this in the midst of the pandemic? How did that go? Was it like all virtual?
Yes.
So it was just like
the first time first of all, they're my really dear friends, and so they're so kind and generous to me. Whenever I say, hey, you want to read something that I'm working on, they're in. And so the first time we read this, though, was probably in May of last year, so it was really early in the pandemic. And though Rin and I literally live around the corner from each other, Deb is in LA and Rebecca is in Brooklyn, although at the time you might have been in Hawaii, you might have been, I don't know. So yeah, we were all over the place.
Wow. But so how many rehearsals did this take to put this together? Did you think?
I think there were only 3 or 4 maybe total.
Yeah, well, you guys like really sunk into these characters pretty well. Rin, oh my God, you cracked me up. First of all, I was just thinking through the whole thing. I was thinking, okay, you have to know the other side in order to play that side so well. You know, the side that is like just oblivious to all the traumas. So is that just part of life for you, that you knew all those things? It's you know.
I think first of all, I think Christine and Rebecca and Deborah were very open and very honest and willing to have conversations about their experiences on the other end of that. Mm-hmm. And that made it a safer space for me to take in ways that I could really excel at those microaggressions.
And you did.
Some really horrible ways. Because as a white actor going into an audition room, I don't receive the same sort of verbiage, I think, that some of them have, and hopefully won't continue to, but you know, there's a learning curve.
Yes.
And I think having those conversations and really listening and really taking in those experiences offered me something to build Ashley around, that I might not have quite hit the nail on the head if I had just imagined it on my own. So thank you guys for being so generous with your experiences.
You were absolutely fantastic. Deb, So in the early part of my career, I played gang leaders for the first 8 years. So there's that. And you know, it was what was available, right? It was what was available in the industry, and how do you make this character three-dimensional? It reminds me of Loanne in terms of like, this is who I have to be in order to get work. In not just work, a Broadway show at the highest level of what we think is like entertainment, Broadway, right? Have you ever experienced anything like that before in terms of your career and having to be something that you organically weren't in order to get a job?
Yeah. And, you know, it's in one of the lines is, you know, I never felt like I was Asian enough to meet certain expectations. And I felt that many times, where I just felt there's sort of an idea of what I should be bringing. And am I that? I don't feel like I fit the mold that is sort of expected that I should fit. And I think over time, just from when I first started to, as the years progressed, into what it looks like now, and hopefully what it will look like later in the future, times are changing, things change. They change because of the work of people like Christine, and people that are doing the work, that are putting in the work, that are writing things, that are fighting to make change happen. And things are slowly changing, and we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But you know, Chris was talking a little bit ago about representation, and you think when we think about what is out there and what is our idea of what an Asian story should be, it's not, you can't pigeonhole what an Asian story should be. Poor Loanne Lee was having to deal with what was a very common idea of what an Asian story should be. And the more work that is done, the more minds change, the more stories that are out there, the more storytelling that happens from writers like Christine and so many people are doing it. It's like that kind of stuff that creates the empathy, that lets people, all of us, see that we are humans, and we don't have to, just because we're Asian, we don't have to fit a mold. We don't have to tell a certain kind of Asian story. We just need to tell a human story.
Mm-hmm.
And that, the more that's out there, the better it is for all of us.
And Deb, correct me if I'm wrong, you played Belle on Broadway, right? In
I did,
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
How was that when you got that? And what were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was so exciting. And I know another woman named Ann Sanders also have played Belle too, and who's Asian as well. But, you know, I think at the time there were many barriers that were starting to be broken, but it was still, it was still not the most common thing. And, you know, there's a lot of work. It's still not common in a lot of ways. And so I remember being on, you know, you're on stage and you're looking out, and as is the case in any show where you're playing a Disney princess, for example, you go and you see all the little kids in their dresses and all dressed up, and man, we're talking about representation. And for kids that are there to be able to look up and say, Belle doesn't have to look like one thing, and I can see myself there, and what does that mean, and how huge that is very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. Rebecca, you had to deal with not only this character that was, I mean, first Asian, and then you had to hide that you were female. So in those two, you had like twofold of the job there. Do you know anyone? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Of people having to pretend to be something outside of what they are?
Yes.
I think we all do in some way or another every day, in terms of gender and identity and race and what that means. in America where people think that they kind of understand who you are by looking at you and can categorize it. To
Yeah.
that degree, no. And I have a lot of empathy for those who have, because that is a continual struggle. But I'm excited about representation that is now becoming more open to people who are who they say they are and not who you decide that they are for them. So in terms of, for me in that moment, it didn't resonate insofar as I've never actually pretended that I was a man to get a part, but I've definitely played men's parts before. And that is something that actually, I mean, I played Van Helsing and Dracula, so huzzah.
And she was great. I got to see it.
But it's just,
Christine,
yeah, sorry.
Christine and I always joke when we see a breakdown that is like, I don't know, Asian male or female, 30 to 100.
Yeah, I usually say that I'm in the 40 to death category.
40 to death. She says 40 to death. I have a question, Rebecca, though. I'm sorry. Continue what you were going to say. I have another question for you after that. Okay. Here's when you finally the two of you show up on screen. You're by yourselves, and you're realizing, you know, that she is this person that you already knew that she's this person that you went to school with, and you recognize her. Is there for both of you, is there more of a feeling of camaraderie or more of a feeling like, oh shit? You know, is it like, oh great, let's do this together? Or is it like, because at one point, Rebecca, she said, are you going to tell on me? You were like, I don't know. I do have to do my job. So
I think it went quickly from oh shit to camaraderie.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's a short play.
It is. I know. We could talk so much about it. I know. But yeah. I loved that point where it's like, yeah, I mean that oh shit, but that part where you guys like come together and you're like, you just feel like some sort of family, even though you don't really know each other.
Yes.
You know, I do have to mention too, Christine, you played Julie Jordan in Carousel, like, and that was groundbreaking in a lot of reasons, for a lot of ways. How did you feel when that happened with you?
You know, it's really something, because that was one of the first what we used to call non-traditionally cast parts. I like to say diverse and inclusive now, so that because I think non-traditional connotes not normal. But you know, it's at a time when it was a surprise to even be allowed to audition for a role like that. So it was really incredible, and I've told the story a lot, but that I remember feeling sort of ashamed when I got to the audition, because I felt like people might be looking at me like, why would you be here? This isn't The King and I, you know, why would you be here? And but when I got to play the part, and also, like I like to say, no one died when I got the part. That was, you know, it was this win-win. It was a very, very positive experience. It was through that role, actually, that I started to find my positive advocacy voice, because I realized that I could illuminate a positive experience to make a point. And that has since sort of become a lot of the way I like to build bridges within the industry and try to affect change through collaboration and coming together over the same objectives, which is, you know, to have a more global view and reflect our world as it really is. But so it was meaningful in a lot of ways that I got to play something like that, and it was the beginning of me playing a very large amount of what we call the golden age soprano leading lady roles back then. But it also helped me find my voice in advocacy.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I'm going to finish up with this question before we open it up to everyone out there in the interverse. Is considering a piece like this, what do you guys think we need to do to forward more accurate representations of ourselves in the media, and what do you think we need to do to make it stick and not just be a passing fancy?
Well, if we can answer that then in 3 minutes or less, we win the world. I will just say that I think that one of the things that I've been encouraged by through these very large conversations that have been cracked open over the last year over representation and stereotypes is that there has been a greater acknowledgement that being able to tell our stories through our lenses, which I mentioned earlier, does mean something, and it does have an impact in how we're portrayed, not only what stories, because with the plurality of our experiences being told, but also from our voices, so that they're more at the core, for lack of a better word, authentic. And really, so I think that that's one of the things that now that we've acknowledged that, hopefully we can lean into that, and more stories will be produced that are through our lenses. I have heard so many times throughout my advocacy, people blaming the lack of parity on us not existing, whether it's Asian American actors or women or women writers or women of color writers, or that has been a very common default response. And so it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Yeah. You answered it in less than 3 minutes, just FYI.
Well,
that was fantastic.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things that they're working on. Through the Dramatist Guild, my work at the Dramatist Guild, we're about to roll out the first inclusion rider of its kind, where we are basically saying, this is what we believe in. We believe in a diverse and inclusive and robustly expanded landscape of storytelling, which must be populated intentionally. Will you meet me halfway? So that's something that I'm personally helping to work on, and many other people are doing many other things.
I think that's amazing. That's amazing. Let's just be human.
Yeah.
Let's just be portrayed as human beings. How about that? I would love to take questions from anyone out there, and we can pose them to this amazing panel. So please go ahead and shoot us some questions. The reason I asked you that, Chris, was because I had been asked that particular question, and it kind of stumped me. You're right. For all of us. I mean, it's not just Asian Americans. It is everybody. It's everybody in this country. It's what can we do? And the humanness, I feel like, is kind of the main thing that I find lacking. It's instead there are stereotypes. So thank you for that. All that answer was like beautifully said in 3 minutes or less. We have our first question. Our first question is from Lily. Sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. Lily Maison. Hey guys, amazing work. Are there any plans to bring the play to the stage? Chris.
Not that I know of right now. I hope so. There have been a couple of conversations in passing about it, but nothing concrete. But I hope so.
Yeah, I would love to see this. Love to see this.
It's funny because I wrote the expanded version, so there is a full-length version meant only to take place on screens. So it's FaceTime and Zoom and Instagram Live and YouTube shows. That's how it's written. But there's also a version that I wrote to take place on stage. So with an eye towards us coming back together in the room.
Absolutely. I think it has to be these three ladies, and they're amazing. They're amazing.
They are amazing. I love them so much.
Do we have any more questions out there? From Beatrice Cavallari. Amazing job, guys. What happens after the play ends? Well, that means where does it go?
Yeah. So what happens is they fast forward a little bit to the night of the press opening, and they are on the QT rehearsing the new version that Roberta writes. And also it's discovered that Susan, who is Loan, her boyfriend, actually is playing Billy Ellis. So, and he's their press agent.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, you know,
Did you know that? Did you know that, Rin?
No, I didn't know that part. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to tell you
that.
the rest. I'm not going to tell you the rest of it because someday you'll have to see it on stage. But they do all come together in a shared appreciation of each other, and that's what I'll say. It is a happy ending.
Oh, I like that. Let's see. Someone asked by text if, let's see. Let me just move this over. If they can watch the play later, and the answer, it'll be available on Abingdon's YouTube channel. That is the answer to your question. So it'll be available there. Thank God for all of us, because I want to watch it again. So you guys, I think we've hit our hour mark. This has been fantastic. Thank you to you guys. Oh, one more question. We're going to take one last question. How can we continue to support your work?
Well, that's a wonderful question. I think that all of us are on social media in some way to follow what we're doing. I think I'll let you all speak for yourselves too, but I think just showing up and being supportive is a big part of the gesture that counts. What about all of you? Do you have anything better to say than that? That was a little clunky.
No, that's good. I think, you know what, Christine, we always talk about this anyway, is about amplifying voices, about amplifying voices of friends, voices of Asian friends, voices of friends, period, you know? And I think that that's a real wonderful thing for all of us, you know, just even on social media, especially with social media these days, it's real easy to do. So something Chris and I always talk about, and something she's taught me, which is what I'll end with too, is go where you're celebrated, not just tolerated. And I love that about my friend Christine. So she has taught me much. But a final thank you to Christine, to Rin, to Deb, to Rebecca, and especially to Abingdon Theater Company and Chad Austin for having us, and the amazing crew. Thank you for the amazing crew who made this all possible and was able to make this happen virtually. We hope all of you out there enjoyed. Stay safe and be well. This is Empress Mei Lee Lotus Blossom signing off.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.